let's get set up here for the Sterling net point power rankings. How's that look to you?
That's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Don't worry about the numbers or the teams are kind of whited out. They can't see them real good.
Yeah, I was going to say that whatever's white.
I just want to set this up because really it's just the symmetry of the Sterling net point power ranking sometimes that I want people to appreciate, that at any particular point in time, half your team or somewhere around half is on the negative side. And it's nice to know who that is and who it's not. And one of the interesting things about this, Ben, is that if you take a look at it, right now the skew is to the positive because you have 17 teams in the positive.
I was just counting.
Well, you just counting.
I was just counting. Now, those three teams there in the middle, although they're all on the negative, they're fractions. Like they could very easily be on the left side. You know,
Chargers, New England, and the Niners, 0.3, 0.3, and 0.4 on the negative side.
Yes, they are clearly hanging in there.
Well, you got it. First of all, let's give some love to the to the Las Vegas Raiders for being that 17th and last positive ranked team.
Right.
All right. So some positivity for the Raiders there. And so let's take a quick look here at these different rankings that we take a look at. And we focus in on points for, points against, turnover differential, and net points. The A in front of it means we are now at the point where we're doing averages. So the numbers aren't quite as striking, but you still have to understand that the power of what you're talking about. You can look at the turnover differential for Buffalo, for example, knowing that this was through week 6, multiply that by 6. That's almost times 6 times 2. So that's a plus 12 just under that in terms of gross numbers to give you an idea about what we're talking about here. But these are some great averages. Buffalo still ranked number 1 in turnover differential at 1.8. The worst 2 teams in the league are quite on the other side. Jacksonville. and we know that Trevor Lawrence had a couple really bad turnover games. So did the Jets. You know, those are rookie situations. But here you got it. Any particular comment from you?
Yeah, I just want to ask a question so that I'm clear and maybe can clear it up for anybody that's watching. Tell me if I'm right or wrong. So we look at the Buffalo Bills. It says average turnover differential, 1.8. Is that correct?
Yes.
So could I look at that like they are almost 2 takeaways better than everybody else?
When you say average, probably want to use the concept of per game now.
Okay. So they are on the
per game basis, they're coming out almost 2 turnovers better than the other team.
Better per week.
Per game.
2 turnovers better per week.
You're saying week, I'm saying game.
Per game. I got you. Per game. You're right. That's better. So each week, when they come into the game, they're averaging 2 takeaways per game.
Right. Now, the interesting thing with this, again, is you know, it's almost like remember with Derrick Henry in that game against the Bills. I think before he had that, 72-yard breakaway, which was just kind of devastating. He was 4 attempts for 8 yards.
Right.
Right. So then once he gets that, now his numbers are completely skewed. You know what I mean? So we have to look at this. Now we know the skew was in, for example, with the Saints from their first game against the Packers, you know, because that was lopsided. But that thing has righted itself to some degree. As a matter of fact, you look at turnover differential, the Saints are 5th with 1, and the Packers are now 6th with 0.7. They've been rising on the charts like an old hit song.
Right.
So just to go top 10 real quick, Chargers at 10, tied with Tampa Bay at 0.5, tied with Las Vegas at 0.5, and the Rams all at a half turnover per game on average. Green Bay at 0.7, New Orleans at 1, Indianapolis Colts 1.2, Dallas Cowboys 1.2. There's them Arizona Cardinals, man. I'm telling you, the NFC West, and Buffalo at 1.8. So those are your top teams. Most of the other teams you'll notice are pretty close. If you go,
oh yeah, nobody's terrible. I look all the way down to Carolina right quick. They're minus 0.7. That ain't far from, you know what I mean? They're it's not terrible.
not terrible, but they're 28th. Now, if you look, for example, you have a three-way tie from 11 to 13 between Chicago, Seattle, and Minnesota at 0.3. Okay. Then you also have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-way tie between number 17 and number 23 at 0.3 on the minus side, minus 0.3. Miami, Pittsburgh, Washington, Denver, Baltimore, Cincinnati. You got a 4-way, 1, 2, 3, 4-way tie between 23 and 26. Houston, New England, Tennessee, and Cleveland. So you got at least 3 situations where you have pretty much a tie. You even have a tie on the positive side, 7 through 10, with the Rams, Vegas, Tampa Bay, and the Chargers at 0.5 on the positive side. So pretty close.
Pretty much, they're so close that pretty much any particular game where your quarterback goes in the tank and gets strip sacked and throws 2 or 3 picks, or your defense just goes bananas and gets 5 or 6 sacks like the Arizona Cardinals tend to do, okay? And these numbers can flip just like that. But the easy way for me to look at it is, I remember a stat that you put on Facebook, excuse me, during the week, maybe just a day or 2 ago, that said something like 69.6% of the time, the team that has at least 1 more turnover than the other is going to win. And then I look at the Jets at -1, Niners -1, Kansas City 1.3, and Jacksonville -1.7. They're coming into the game severely handicapped when I see that, according to that statistic.
The other thing we like to talk about is neighborhoods. Look at the neighborhood Kansas City's hanging out in.
Yeah, well, I mean, dude, they're not good.
Potential playoff contender.
Their defense is not good. It's not even close to being good. They're not taking the ball away. They're getting shredded.
Well, and then you add on top of that, Pat Mahomes,
he has given it away a few times.
I mean, the one where he's getting tackled and he just throws the ball up, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, did he get attacked by the spirit of Carson Wentz or something? What the heck is going on with that guy?
I'm telling you, for all the so-called miracles that he has put up over the last couple of seasons, and no doubt about it, the guy has done some really great, miraculous things. But those miracles start to run out if your defense can't stop anybody. Because now you're not doing things just because you can. You're doing things because you have to. And there's a big difference. And it's starting to affect him. Whether they can come out of it or not, I don't know. But there might be some shocking things happening coming out of Kansas City in the weeks to come. And I don't mean.
So you want to talk about defense?
Excuse me?
Is that what you want to talk about?
Yeah, we can talk about defense.
Well,
let's remember now, when we talk about defense, we're talking about points against, correct?
Points against,
okay,
or average points against. Again,
right.
We're doing averages because bye weeks. Okay, so the numbers of games is unequal. The only way to do that is to average it out. And number 1, there's Buffalo again. And it's funny. I actually heard someone in the media. Again, we had pointed out that they were number one in all four categories last week. The media discovered that at some point by midweek.
Yeah, they're always behind us. We're always out in front.
and then I heard that Buffalo was actually kind of feeling themselves a bit going into this Titans game.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised to hear that. Don't know how accurate it is, but it was reported. Okay, I just want to mention. But number one, I mean, they should be feeling good. Look at number two, Arizona. Only allowing 18.2 points per game. Buffalo only 16.3. New Orleans, again, the skew team, having only given up 3 points in their first game toward to the Packers, are still number three, tied with number two at 18.2. Denver, number four, 18.3. Questions about Denver defense now, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Secondary is looking shaky. Pass rush is still good, but
Cincinnati Bengals coming in at 5. And we're going to talk about their matchup coming up. Carolina at 6, 20.2 points per game given up. And I think I had said somewhere point, if you can score 28 points in a game, you pretty much are going to win it, So these are the teams that are not giving up 28 points. The Rams, Indianapolis, and New England all giving up 21 point something, 0.2, 0.2, and 0.8 for number 9, 10, and 11. So there you go. There's your top 10. Pittsburgh at number 12. We'd like to break it down to 8s because there's 32 teams, and usually your top 8 is where your playoff contenders are really going to come from, and that's all shaking out as we speak. Tampa Bay is number 17, giving up 24 points a game. Dallas fell. Dallas was up to 16 last week. They're down to 24.3. They dropped to 19 thanks to mac and cheese. You keep calling him mac and cheese.
Mac Jones. That's the name Cam Newton gave him. Cam Newton is now sitting at home on his couch watching Mac work. So,
oh yeah. We're going to talk about some of the dynamics of anybody sitting home on their couch right now as we get to the current events part.
Tell me this. Remind me real quick.
Coming up, right?
Remind me real quick. Where was Dallas at on turnover differential?
On turnover differential? Yeah. Where was Dallas at?
Yeah. Third. Thank you. You can go back now.
Well, and we know why that was.
Yeah, but that kind of makes up for the points they're giving up. It doesn't make up. It doesn't make up for it, but it's just, you look at this and you say, wow, they're 19th in the league, averaging giving up 24.3 points per game. How good could they be? Okay, but when you're getting turnovers at the clip that these guys are getting, I mean, turnovers make the difference between wins and losses because everybody's got a defense and everybody's got an offense too. You know what I mean? And every team is full of professional football players. So you're going to score, I'm going to score, we're going to stop you, you're going to stop it, we can't stop you, you can stop us. But turnovers, to me, is what makes the real difference between wins and losses. And that's where Dallas excels. So just want to say that.
All righty, there you go. Green Bay, I mentioned they're 13th, giving up 22.7, or excuse me, giving up 22.7 points per game. So there you go. And your points against, again, all of this is at the Sterling Net Point Power Rankings Facebook page. All right, Benny, who's scoring the points around here? Because Michael Irvin said it's points that win Super Bowls. That's what I go.
Yeah.
I go,
Mike. Good job, Mike.
Good job, Mike. Especially when you have the number 1 point scoring team in the league. Oh, he's just thrilled. He is so happy. He don't know what to do with himself right about now.
I'll tell you the truth. Let me just say this before you start getting into everybody's numbers and where everybody is here. I'm looking at this list, and we just looked at the points against list, and I'm looking at the points against list, and I'm thinking, I'm not impressed with anybody. I mean, Buffalo averages giving up 18.6. That's pretty doggone good. And the next 2-3 teams under that, they're a good bit underneath the 20, giving up 20 points a game. That's pretty doggone good in today's NFL. But after that, I'm not really impressed. New England giving up 21. Rams supposed to be great. They're giving up 21. The Niners, I thought would be better on. They're giving up 23. Tampa Bay giving up 24. Are you kidding me? That's not good at all. I'm not impressed at all. But when I look at the list of points for, that's impressive. I'd say that's impressive all the way down at least to Green Bay at number 15. You can put up 24 points or more on average, week after week after week, you're going to win ball games. According to Michael Irvin.
Yeah, and again, look at your top 8. Tennessee at number 8, Baltimore number 7, Rams number 6, Kansas City number 5, Arizona number 4, Tampa Bay number 3, Buffalo number 2, and Dallas number 1. Sounds like all contenders to me. Sounds like all contenders. Now, that next group down to 15, you're talking about Cleveland, the Saints, the Chargers, Cincinnati, Vegas, Minnesota. The team that probably belongs least there with that group is Green Bay. But again, the skew is in effect. We know because they only scored 3 points in their first game. So being at 15 at this particular point, averaging 24, when you only scored 3 in your first game, that's a move. I'm keeping an eye on those guys.
That's a nice move. That's a nice move. Aaron Rodgers isn't having his best season. I just want to kind of put that out there as far as like really being stellar through the air. He's having a good season, not even close to his best. We'll have to see if that changes over the course of the next few weeks and Green Bay begins to rise on this particular chart. But I'm not going to say he's struggling. I'm just going to say I like what they're doing as far as their ball control and really leaning on their run game. Something that they had to do last season, and they still got to the NFC Championship game, and something that they don't have to do but choose to do this season. I think it's a formula for success. I'm just saying they're not putting up huge numbers like they used to. That's all.
Okay. And I'll mention finally before we go relative to points 4. Again, I like to talk about neighborhoods. Who's hanging out with who? Well, look at number 24, hanging out square in the middle in terms of being able to score between Atlanta. I'm sorry, I'm talking about 25, Pittsburgh, between New England, who's who's above them, and Jacksonville, who's 0.2 points below them. So
I didn't even peep that. I'm like looking, I'm going Denver, Atlanta, New England, Pittsburgh. What? I'm telling you, man, if they could keep Pittsburgh, if Pittsburgh can protect Big Ben, you will see them rise. If they cannot, you will see them fall. It's all on protecting Ben. And Jacksonville, I mean, they got a nice run game. It's not like they stink. Their defense stinks. It's not like Trevor Lawrence can't find the end zone. You know what I mean? So, yeah. When you think about it, it's not surprising. But as my eyes were going down the list, I was like, say what?
I know.
And they're right above my Giants. Oh, God.
Now, the only other, you got the 2 NFC West contenders there. I'm calling them contenders, but I'm not believing in them. And that's my team, the Niners, my beloved 49ers, and our NFC West compadres, the Seattle Seahawks, both of which are only averaging a little over 23 points a game. So,
Bro, it was just a matter of weeks ago where I heard other people, and I almost agreed that the NFC West could possibly have 4 playoff teams.
yes.
What
And
a
then
difference a
reality
couple of
starts
weeks
to
made.
set in.
Hey,
It's
hey,
still early. All right, there'll be a lot.
it is.
Wait a minute. How does Stephen A. This is his new word now. Stephen A. Smith. Fluid. Everything is fluid.
Oh,
Everything change. He's changing his picks and stuff on a weekly basis. Talking about it's fluid.
yeah, that means he just don't know what he wants, but he likes to talk. So
It's fluid, Benny. It's all right.
mean,
Let's go. This is where 2 minus 1 averages out in terms of whatever. It's the differential that makes the difference. Average net points. Let's take a look at number 1. There's those Buffalo Bills again.
Man,
I didn't read the articles, but I saw 2 or 3 articles, and I think it was the Buffalo Press prior to the game talking about what Buffalo was going to do with Derrick Henry, how they were going to do. But they didn't do a bad job. It's Derrick Henry. You know what I'm saying? They didn't do a bad job, but you got to score too. Derrick Henry's going to get his, then you got to get yours and hope at the end you can beat them. But 17.5 points per game on average. Second to
score in every. Let me ask you. So he didn't score in every quarter. He didn't go for 200 plus, and he didn't score 4+ touchdowns. So therefore, they didn't do that bad.
It's Derrick Henry.
It's Derrick Henry, right?
He's not a normal guy.
Right. So anything under him getting 1 touchdown or more per quarter of the game. So he starts hot and he finishes hot. He gets close to or at least 200 yards on the ground, let alone the guy catches 5-6 passes. Other than that, they didn't do too bad.
Hey, look, Manny, 28 points, right? That would be one again. If Derrick Henry runs for a score and you throw for a score and you match him, it's 28-28. You know what I mean?
I got you.
You got to do your thing. They're going to do their thing. There's only so much you can do. I thought that apparently their history with Derrick Henry is actually pretty good. They actually
I saw that stat. Yeah, I saw that stat. They held him under 100 several times.
So there you go. Well, number 1, 2, and 3. Let's get you a top 3 here. You got Buffalo, Arizona, and Dallas in third place at 9.8. Arizona averaging 14.2. And again, average net points is that statistic like turnover differential that can go both positive and negative. Tampa Bay at 5. Well, I'm sorry, the Rams at 4 at plus 8.7. Tampa Bay 5, 8.5. Baltimore 6, 7.8. Saints 7th. The Saints seem like an anomaly. For some reason, I keep thinking the Saints should be down in the lower fourth for some reason. And I know about the skew, but it's just amazing that they haven't fallen more to me. Anyway, we'll see. Saints 7th, Cincinnati 8th at 6.2 points per game, or excuse me, net points per game. Carolina 3.7, Denver 2.7, and that rounds out your top 10. So again, Kansas City being able to score, so they're in the positive on net points at number 12. Same with Minnesota, same with Green Bay. Indianapolis and Tennessee at number 15. Again, Las Vegas holding up that extra slot just below Cleveland at 0.8 and Vegas at 0.5. Everybody else is on the negative side. The surprise team that's on the negative side as far as net points are concerned, I would say, Benny, are Seattle, Pittsburgh. Yeah, that's pretty much about it.
These are teams you're considering contenders that happen to be on the negative side?
Well, teams that I thought were better than being on the negative side. You know
I
what I
got you.
mean? They could have been, maybe they were number 17, but they're on the negative side right now. Seattle and Pittsburgh.
I got you.
So
Yeah, I see a couple of teams. I would agree with that. Excuse me. It's funny now. Everybody out there, remember, these are our power rankings. These are Barry's, specifically Barry's power rankings. You take these power rankings and you watch NFL Network and watch and see what their power rankings are coming up after week 6 or going into week 7, and compare them to these and tell us what you think. I'm looking at these power rankings, and just on the eye test, the first 6, I have absolutely, positively no problem with. None at all. I think that's pretty good. I think that's darn good, considering most shows are going to talk about top 10s. Okay. New Orleans, since you mentioned them, they've won a game, lost a game, won a game, lost a game, won a game. They're not bad. I'm looking at their defense. They're not giving up tons of passing yardage, except for in their last 2 against the Giants and Washington. Somehow those games became kind of shootouts, but and they lost to the Giants and they beat Washington. So defensively, yeah, they're a little shaky. Offensively, Jameis Winston is holding up his end pretty much, considering he doesn't have a name wide receiver to throw the ball to. So I'm a little bit surprised that they're still that high. Some of it has to do with the skew, obviously. I don't know if they're going to be able to hang in there, though. Cincinnati, I'm not super surprised at. Carolina's showing their true colors. They're going to fall. Denver's showing their true colors. They're going to fall. These are my opinions. I believe Minnesota has a chance to get in the top 10. I believe Green Bay has a chance to get in the top 10. After Tennessee showing against Buffalo, I cannot not mention them as a possibility. I don't know if they can get it up to play that well again, but they sure did show me something this past weekend. Vegas is not out of the woods yet, and the Chargers, I doubt that they'll play that badly offensively ever again this season. So, yeah, this is great. But that top 6, gotta love that. You gotta love those teams.
absolutely, absolutely. All right, Benny. Well, that wraps up the Sterling Net Point Power Rankings portion of the show. And you're absolutely right. When you're looking at all the other rankings, they include a lot of opinion, conjecture, and we don't completely, discount that. However, these rankings are based on what the teams have actually done.
Right.
They did it. They put themselves there. I didn't put them there. You didn't put them there. We just tracking what they're doing and reminding people this was a great experiment. We're going to talk about a little bit about our results on the next segment, the Bias Plus Reports, which takes those rankings, the net points and the turnover differential, and utilizes those 2 stats in looking at the matchups for the upcoming week. We're talking about week 7 out of 18. 9 games, we'd be halfway through, Benny. We're almost halfway through the season already.
Yeah. We'll be deep into the bye weeks, too.
Oh, deep into the bye weeks. All right, here we go.